most losses. Reggie Strickland is one of the most unique figures in boxing history, and not for reasons you'd want. He holds the record for the most career losses ever, 276 of them. That's not a typo, 276. Strickland was what's known as a journeyman. Basically, he was the guy promoters called when they needed an opponent on short notice. He fought anybody, anywhere, sometimes multiple times in the same month. To keep getting booked, he even admitted to fighting under fake names. Now here's the crazy part. Despite all those losses, Strickland wasn't some helpless punching bag. He actually went the distance with world champions, gave young prospects their toughest fights, and rarely got stopped. He knew how to survive. But still, imagine clocking into work 363 times and walking out with only 66 wins. That's a level of resilience or stubbornness that's hard to comprehend. The worst part? When people hear his name, they don't think about his toughness or the fact he helped shape the careers of countless fighters. They just remember him as the guy who lost more than anyone else. It's a record no boxer would ever want. And the wild thing is, it'll probably never be broken. Fastest knockout loss. Imagine training for months, cutting weight, going through hell in the gym, only for your fight to last literally 1 second. That's exactly what happened to Brandon Burke in 2007 when he fought Phil "The Drill" Williams. The bell rang, Williams stepped forward, threw one overhand right, and boom! Burke was out cold before the crowd even had time to sit down. Official time? 1 second. The fastest knockout loss in pro boxing history. Now, depending on how you look at it, that's either the easiest paycheck of all time or the most humiliating night of your life. Fans barely got comfortable in their seats, commentators barely got through the intro, and Burke's name was forever etched into boxing trivia for all the wrong reasons. To this day, if you type fastest KO loss into Google, Brandon Burke's face is the first thing that pops up, not the highlight reel you want to be remembered for. Most times knocked down. There's tough, and then there's being too tough for your own good. A lightweight named Vicente Mosquera set the kind of record no fighter would ever want. He got knocked down 14 times in a single fight. 14. That's basically a cardio workout where the exercise is stand up, fall back down, repeat, and he's not the only one. Flash forward when Ray Mercer fought Tommy Morrison. Morrison got dropped 6 times before the ref finally stepped in. By the end, fans weren't cheering anymore. They were just wondering if someone should call an ambulance. Here's the thing, getting dropped once is part of the sport. Twice? Okay, maybe you had a bad night, but when it turns into a game of whack-a-mole and you're the mole, that's the kind of record that follows you forever. Nobody brags about being the guy who got up the most. All people remember is that you kept hitting the canvas. It shows insane toughness, sure, but it's the last record any boxer wants attached to their name. Longest losing streak. Most fighters dream of going on a winning streak. Robin Deacon did the exact opposite. He holds the record for the longest losing streak in boxing history, 51 straight losses. Deacon actually won his pro debut in 2006, and then never won again for almost a decade. Every time he stepped in the ring, fans knew exactly what was coming. Another L. It got so bad that the British Boxing Board of Control actually revoked his license, saying it was too dangerous for him to keep fighting. But here's the wild part. Deacon wasn't hated for it. He became kind of a cult hero. Fans called him Britain's worst boxer, but they loved him because he kept showing up, no matter how ugly it got. He even once sold out an arena just off his reputation as the guy who never won. In 2015, after 51 losses in a row, Deacon finally got his second career win, and the crowd went nuts like he'd just won a world title. It was a feel-good moment, but at the end of the day, he'll always be remembered for the streak. 51 fights of walking in with hope and walking out with disappointment. Youngest death? Some boxing records are funny, some are embarrassing, and then there are the ones that are just tragic. The most infamous has to be the story of Kim Duk-koo. In 1982, Kim was a 23-year-old lightweight from South Korea and about to fight Ray Boom Boom Mancini in Las Vegas. But the bout turned into a war. They went at it for 14 brutal rounds until Kim collapsed in the corner and never got back up. He slipped into a coma and died a few days later. The fallout changed boxing forever. The sport cut championship fights from 15 rounds down to 12. Medical checks became stricter. Ringside doctors were given more authority. Even referees started stopping fights earlier. Kim's death literally rewrote the rule book. It's a heartbreaking record because no one ever sets out to be remembered that way. Kim Dooku was a talented fighter with his whole career ahead of him, but today his name is tied to tragedy. Most disqualifications. If there's one thing a fighter never wants to be remembered for, it's being the guy who can't follow the rules. And that's where Andrew Golota comes in. Golota was a big, talented heavyweight in the 90s, but instead of being remembered for knockouts or titles, he became infamous for getting himself disqualified. The most notorious case? His 2 fights with Riddick Bowe. Both times Golota was actually winning, and both times he couldn't stop throwing low blows. Over and over, straight to the groin, until the ref had no choice but to call it. Fans were stunned, Bowe's corner nearly started a riot, and Golota's reputation was sealed. From that moment on, people didn't call him a world-class heavyweight, they called him the foul pole.